Hello everyone, my name is Raquel Fournier and I'm doing this new video. This is a 2021 update on the NHA exam, phlebotomy exam. It's based on the multiple questions I have been receiving in regards to this test, and also in regards to what externship is and where to do it, etc., etc. So one of the questions that I get more often is about the way I study. Everyone is different. In my case, again, I took my book and I made sure I answer, and I put clips. You can see, let me see. There you go. I put clips, like pink clips, where all the questions are after each chapter of the book. My book was Phlebotomy Handbook, Blood Specimen Collection from Basic to Advanced. This is the book I used, as you can see right there. And again, each chapter has a questionnaire. I marked each one and I responded all the questions on that questionnaire just to have an idea on how I was doing or my understanding of that specific chapter. After that, and this is a question many people ask me as well, I marked down with silver clips the most important chapters. Everything is important, but I heard that in some tests there's a lot of a lot or part of the questions are related to fires and extinguishers and all that. So I went ahead and I put a little mark so I'll remember and I could tell you guys. Then I marked, of course, my circulatory system. The veins are very important, always, like the cephalic, basilic, and median cubital, and their location, which one is the preferred vein to draw blood from. Those are basics for a phlebotomist. Then, of course, all the kind of needles and all the ways we can extract blood, including butterfly, stray needle. Then I marked as well all the tubes, order of draw. That's extremely important, the order of draw. With the order of draw, there's something when we learn the tubes, and this was another question you guys were asking me. The tubes are named by color, like the yellow, the red, yellow, blue, red, yada, yada. Okay. That's okay. It's good to know them that way. But when you talk about tubes in the test, the way the tubes are going to be named is going by their additives. So if the tube is an EDTA, if the tube is just a serum, or if the tube has no serum, no, it's a plasma tube, it's just by the name. Sodium citrate, just by the name. So please, please, please remember the color and the additive for each color, because that has been appearing always, 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 always in the tests. And also when you go to work, you're going to find out that is very important to know. You are not going to have the teacher next to you as if you are in the classroom telling you which will the order of draw be if you are only getting the names, sodium citrate, etc. So for me, the experience has been great with the test. I brought my water. Just make sure you are hydrated. Nowadays in my school, they did the test one by one. Something happened and someone was not able to take her test when she was supposed to, so she ended up taking it in the same room as me. Also remember, not all the tests are the same in the same classroom. Just be focused on yours. They can have 2, 3 different tests going at the same time in the same classroom when you are taking your NHA. The difference with the NHA, which I find great, is that you are going to have a certification that is going to be valid in the whole United States. You have to certify again after 2 years. But it's not that you have to take the test, and that is a question someone sent me. No, you don't have to retake the same test. It's going to be going by what I was told when I asked. It's going to take probably 15-20 minutes of your time. It's a very short refresher, and then you, of course, and for that you pay too, and then you are ready to go for another couple of years. I like this one, again, I was saying, because it's a national test. So if you move to another state, you don't have to retake the test, like the regular test. So for me, that's very important. Another thing, and this was very important, was a tourniquet. Questions about the tourniquet. And this is the tourniquet, learning how to apply it correctly, learning like if you are going to draw from the arm, if you are going to draw from the hand, how to apply it, the distance in between the puncture site and the tourniquet. That's extremely important, and it's not just for the exam, but just for the everyday phlebotomy life. Like when you go to the lab, when you go to the doctor's office, you have to know that is like the basic. So that's extremely important. Learn how to tie the tourniquet, and learn also when to remove it. You have to remove the tourniquet if you have had the tourniquet for 1 minute. So you don't want to keep it there for over 1 minute. That is a big no-no, and that might be a question, not just on the test, but something that if you go to do your externship, someone may ask. Remember to remove that before removing the needle. I have seen that error happening a lot, and that's why I recommend, if you have the opportunity of doing labs, draw blood in those labs at school, do it. Try to do it, because practice makes a huge difference. You don't want to be all lost when you go to a doctor's office. You never want, and this is a great advice I got from my teachers, never be trying to move around, trying to chase the vein. No, from the moment you introduce that needle, you can go a little back, a little forward, maybe change direction, just pulling a tiny bit out, but never try to be digging around, because you are going to create a big hematoma. Talking about hematoma and talking about all those concepts are always included on the tests. So learn those red cells, white cells, all those concepts. Also, very important, knowing the entities that regulate anything related with clinical research, with clinics and hospitals, and working in hospitals. All those entities, all their names and what they do, because that is for sure one or two or maybe three of the questions on every single test. That's important also, because you want to know that you're working on a safe environment. Remember that after doing all this, you are going to have to go to an externship, and you have to show that you have a certain knowledge. You are going to be, and that's what I'm doing right now. And it's very hard, because with the COVID, I'm in Los Angeles, and in Los Angeles, it has been very hard, very complicated for many people to have open opportunities for externships in the case of phlebotomy. But try to have the most knowledge you can have. Be as professional as you can. You have to be, usually it should be around 40 hours, which will give you enough time to do 50 venipunctures. But nowadays, I already did 40 hours, and I'm still like almost like halfway to get all my venipunctures. But learn. I'm very proud to say that in the time I had been doing the externship, I was able to, thanks to the place I'm going, to get 3 more certifications, 3 more specific certifications for clinical handling and blood handling in labs and transportation. So I'm very happy that I have those 3 certifications to add to my resume. And so always try to learn, try to see, do the little extra, try to, and this is something that you have to be organized and that you have to do every time. In my case, when I go on the externship, I make sure I have in every single, if you have 5 rooms, make sure that all the rooms have all the supplies you need. There's nothing worse than to try to start a blood draw and finding that you don't have either alcohol or the cotton or the gauze, and trying to be looking to look around. That doesn't look professional. We don't want the patient to get worried nor scared. So it's very important. Just make sure you check every day when you are going to be doing some blood draws, that you have all you need handy, that you have your alcohol, that you have clean tourniquets. Everyone has a different policy with tourniquets, so make sure that you know what the policies are. Always, of course, you wear gloves, and they have to be fitting but not extremely tight, because in my case, if they're extremely tight, you don't feel exactly the vein. So you want something that is that allows you to move, and that is it makes easy to find the vein. Another thing, and there's many, I have seen many things. Make sure that your sharps container is only 3/4 full, and this, you have to memorize it. This sometimes can be a question, and it's just for your own safety. 3/4 full, you don't want to fill it to the rim, because if that sharp container looks like a porcupine, you can get poked. And one advice from one of the doctors I was doing my labs with was that needles can save your life, but needles can also kill you. So just keep that in mind. You don't know. There are so many things that can be transmitted through blood. And if you get poked, you can get sick. If that happens, well, just follow the rules. In your book, you're going to find all the details and what to do about that. Nowadays, not just using my mask, the regular mask when I draw blood, but I'm using a face shield to avoid, by any chance, any droplets of blood falling on my eyes. So those are prevention tips and things that might also appear as questions on your test. That's the first thing. Just try to relax, it's not that bad. If you read the questions 2 or 3 times, you'll be okay. I already mentioned in my previous video that there's a little a button that you can click. So that question answer, make sure you answer the question, and then those questions that you marked, or flag, you are going to be able to review at the end. Because when you get to the end part of the test, that is if you're taking the test on a computer, which was my case when I went to the school, they have a room where all the computers are, so you can take the tests there. You mark all those questions, and you can revisit them at the end. There's a window that will appear and ask you, do you want to review the flagged questions? Say yes. Go back and review. In my case, there were a couple questions. Never leave a blank question, because that's taken as a wrong question. I responded everything, but there were 2 questions I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to get stuck on those, because you have 125 questions to respond. And it's 2 hours the test, but still you want to be able to have enough time to go back and revisit those. In my case, I had 2 questions that I responded wrong and that I was doubtful. I flagged them, and then I was able to go back and just a little more relaxed, change the answer and submit the test. After you submit your test, I thought I had to wait for a week or so. And no, my surprise was that the person that was there in the test coordinating everything told me, now you just have to click send and you just have to click here. And I got my results right away. So as everything is computerized, I got the results and it said pass. So that was awesome. You print also that certification that appears on that page. They mentioned that they were going to be sending one by mail as as a result of me requesting that, but I haven't received anything yet. So I just printed that when I got home. And right after, at that moment, right after taking the test, I was taken to the desk where they were assigning the externship. There was a waiting list due to the pandemic and coronavirus going on. So it took them, I will say, oh my goodness, I don't know if a month to call me. They asked me about my resume. And well, I sent the resume, and shortly after, I was asked to go an interview for that externship. And I went there. I asked for, and don't be afraid to ask. I asked to get a tour of the place, and I did. I saw all the rooms. I saw the lab. I had the opportunity of working a little bit on the lab as well. So don't be afraid to ask if you have any doubts, if you want to focus on something. In my case, well, I was the first week, I was like there every day. I was the full time, and then if you have to work, just do little by little. Like, you can do a few hours one day, a few hours another day, but just always make sure that you stay in touch with the person that is coordinating the externships there, because at least where I'm at, they have, let me see, I have seen 1, 2, 3 other phlebotomists, and there was a 4th one. So it will be a 5th one because I'm there too. So it will be like a 5th one they were interviewing as well. So you want to make sure that you're not going all the same day, because if you do, you are not going to have enough drawings that day. So it depends where you are going. There are many places, and that's what I wanted to mention. You can end up going to a lab, like, for example, Quest, or you can go to a doctor's office, or in some cases, you may find a clinical research company, and that works a little bit different, because they will not have patients going all at the same time in the morning. No, they will have patients assigned depending on the studies they have, and they want to check for the levels of the drugs they are receiving, to see if everything is going all right. So they will not only do blood drawings, they will do other checkups in the facility. So just make sure that you are always learning, that you are always their professional. Where I always think it's a good idea to wear a face shield, because to me, it has been very helpful. I feel safer that way too. Of course, always your gloves. Never use your gloves. Make sure your patients are also wearing a mask. And if no one is taking temperature when the patients go in, just take the initiative and just with one of those thermometers that you can point at the forehead. Just do it yourself. You don't want to be doing anything to someone that has high temperature. You don't know if that might be COVID or something else, so make sure you do that. Then with the test, I wanted to add that be hydrated. Make sure you drink water, that you don't feel that you are fainting that day. It's not that bad. Yeah, it can be a little, it can give you a little bit of nervousness at the beginning, but trust me, it's going to be okay. And if in any case you don't pass the test the first time, you will always have the opportunity of retaking the test. If you don't pass, this is how it works. You don't pass the test the first time, at least that's what they explained to me where I went to school. You have to wait 1 month to retake it, because they don't want by any chance to give you the same test you already took. So when you go the next month, of course you have to pay, and I believe the fee for retaking the test is $250, which, you know, it's something that if you can avoid, that's awesome. But if you cannot, well, oh well, right? But to me, it's just knowing that you don't have to wait a whole year. You just need to wait 1 more month if you don't if you don't pass the test the first time. So, you know, that makes it a little bit easier. Then you're not going, if you're doing a computer test, you're not going to need anything. Of course, if you need glasses, wear your glasses. If your eyes get tired, just wear those protection for those glasses that are to protect the eyes from the blue light. Those are awesome. So that way your eyes don't get all tired. They are going to give you, and this I wanted to mention before, they are going to give you a piece of paper and a pen so you can write notes. But just in case, bring a pen, no, a pencil. Bring a pencil yourself, just in case. That paper, they will give it to you blank. If you want right away, you can write a couple things down that you remember and think are important. Just write a couple things. Write during the test. You can write things if you don't remember, if you want to do some calculation on it, whatever you want to do it there. That paper they will take from you when you exit the room. That's what they did with all of us. They took the pencils and they took the paper, because they might have other groups of students and they don't want that paper to be passed around. That's the idea. That's basically it. And I wanted to say, if you have any questions, if you have more questions, because I have been getting many questions throughout the time. It has been a short time since I put the video up. But if you have additional questions, make sure you send them to me. I had been trying to answer every single one of them. It's very important to know. And for me, it was a challenge because I couldn't find information that was updated on the NHA test. The tests are similar, but NHA is, again, for the national test. You want the national certification test. So that's what it means. That is the difference. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I also, and I mentioned, and I show you guys that before, I also made just cards, just small cards that have the color of the tube, the additive of the tube, and a little bit of a description, because you might get also some of the tests. Okay, like this, let's say the gray tube, what are the uses for the gray tube? Or they might just say they are testing someone for diabetes, and they give you options of tubes. They write the additives, and you have to choose which is the right tube for that specific draw. So that is extremely important. Also the tubes for pregnancy, tubes for hematology. That is very important. Just try to study all of those. They will ask tons of questions. Remember, you have 125 questions. So there's a lot of questions. A lot of people ask me too about the cardiovascular system. Yes, that's important. The heart, that is important too, to know. So all those things, and as I was saying, if you have additional questions, please just always remember, you can send me a message. You can leave a message down here in the box of this video, and I'll try to answer right away or as soon as I can. I will always try to do an updated video, so to tell you a little bit how everything is going with all I'm doing related to phlebotomy, because in fact my idea at the beginning was working with, and you can do many things when you are a phlebotomist, working with the beauty part of phlebotomy, which was the plasma extraction. But nowadays, if you go to the Red Cross, which is a great place if you are a phlebotomist, you go to the Red Cross and they are doing the plasma for people that had the COVID-19 and they have those antibodies and they just want that plasma so they can save other lives. I think you can save 3 people with 1 bag of blood or plasma donated by someone. So that's another option. Like all the plasma research that is going on right now, it's another source of work for many phlebotomists. As I mentioned, you can go work for a lab, you can work for a doctor's office too, and you can work for research. Learn, and this is, this you don't get on the books, but just maybe just a couple of lines there. When you use the spinner, or just you do centrifuge, use the centrifuge, sorry, and you centrifuge the blood. The way of extraction of that plasma on the blood or that serum has to be done with a pipette. Just be familiar with all those items, because if you have never seen those and you are working with someone's blood and they send you to the lab by any chance, they are short on personnel or something, you have to know how the pipettes look. No, they are only one use only, and that you are not supposed to be, if the tubes are different, they have different, I will avoid doing that, like using them in different assays of blood, because even though they are from the same person, just because of the additives that each tube has. When you do the centrifuge, you don't shake that tube when you remove the tube from there, because everything, if you move it, everything will mix up again. So those are things that you will not see on the books. Sometimes it's just learning in a lab. Try. My best recommendation for you guys, just go to the lab before taking your test. When you go to the lab and you're familiar, okay, this is the tourniquet, this is the way I apply it, this is the distance on the arm when I'm applying my tourniquet, okay, these are the needles, this is called the hub, this is called, because there are pieces that are called a little bit different. Some people call the hub adapter. So never know. So just get familiar with the terminology, because that terminology is what is going to be used in the test for every single one that you can find out there. And yeah, and that will be, well, my update today. So hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully I'll have a lot of people tell me they passed their test. I'm talking about the test I took in California, and it's specifically the NHA test. So I don't know if there's any variations with others. I find this book to be good, But remember, there are things that have been updated. The way you clean before introducing the needle has been updated. There's a few things that have been updated, and those things you can find if you get the digital course that in my school they sell it additionally to the regular classes, just as a practice. It's the NHA practice for the test, and there's a little segment that a lot of people keep skipping because they have told me that little segment of updates. Check those out, because some of those updates, and in fact one of those updates appeared on my test. So be aware. The book is good, but it still needs some updates, and the best way to get the updates is directly to that practice from the NHA. Maybe you can find some extra information online, but it was very hard for me to find updated info. I could find a lot from like 5 years, 4 years, and things change, and in fact things have changed already. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for your questions. And again, good luck. I hope that you get the job that you deserve, that you pass your test, and don't be nervous. I know that you will be doing very good. Okay? Well, a big kiss. Thank you. See you soon.